Good evening, this is Atmospheric Alex here with another update on the potentially crippling winter storm that will be impacting portions of the Central Plains into the Ohio Valley Midwest regions and going into the Mid-Atlantic and portions of the Northeast U.S. We are expecting some very significant impacts from this, including very heavy snowfall and potentially crippling ice totals down further south. We're going to launch straight into this video, starting off with your Weather Prediction Center's snow outlook and all the products that it has with it. We're going to first take a look at your snow mount hazards here, and you can just see, just look at this. You do have some of your red colors here indicating major snow amounts, potentially getting close to a foot across some of these areas. And northern Kansas here, stretching into portions of northern Missouri, and across the rest of the area here with your oranges and reds. But believe me, snow is not going to be the main hazard with this system. Just thought I'd point that out. And then moving even further east, you could see some splotches of red are beginning to show up for the DC area. Yeah, it does in fact look like you will be getting some extremely heavy snowfall in the next few days here. We'll take a look at that when we go through our weather model data. And now we're going to take a look at your snow load forecast, and my oh my, this one is a doozy here across portions of southern Indiana, like I've been saying. Look at this, Jasper here, Louisville, Kentucky, and near Radcliffe there, even near Evansville. We're talking about a major to an extreme snow load impact. So you have tons and tons and tons of freezing rain falling and accreting, and then you have tons of snow falling as well. That is going to weigh a lot of stuff down, including trees, power lines, and potentially even certain buildings and structures as well. We really need to keep an eye on this. This could get very significant in a hurry. Sum it all up, I'd say through this area you will end up being under a falling branch warning. Now obviously that's not an official warning category, but you get the idea, right? Now looking at your ice accumulation forecast from the Weather Prediction Center, yeah, we do in fact have some major areas here across Kansas and portions of Missouri there as well. You take a look at that big orange stripe there and some red areas in there as well, where we are expecting over a half an inch of ice, maybe even 3/4 of an inch or more in localized spots, especially in this spot here, looking really serious. You can't forget about the further southern areas here, along like the Cumberland Plateau area here into portions of East Tennessee could see some freezing rain. And into western North Carolina as well. They don't need it, but they're going to have to see it. Some minor impacts. Well, it'd be more like moderate to major with their current condition, unfortunately. Now, your blowing snow index here, we have a moderate risk. This could get upgraded to a major risk here across eastern Kansas. You have strong winds with quite a lot of snowfall, and across portions of southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and in there as well. Could see some stronger winds, really kicking up your snow activity here when it's all said and done. And, well, obviously, that will reflect in your ground blizzard potential here. Kansas, big-time hotspot. That snow will be your jackpot. That will be your jackpot region for snow for sure. All right, we're going to begin taking a look at your model data here. First, we're looking at your GFS model here. And you can see, starting tomorrow morning, big-time explosion of precipitation across the board. And really, tomorrow afternoon, look at all of that ice that begins to break out across the board here. Central Missouri there, southern Illinois, much of southwestern Kentucky really getting in on the action as well. And then your snow shield to the north, lifting north out of the area. Big time ice issues here later, especially tomorrow evening. Really, really got to watch this area in here. I am telling you, from Evansville to Louisville, very significant accretions are possible. Wouldn't be shocked to see an inch report in that area. And then it even kicks up a bit of a severe weather outbreak. We'll get into that later on as to why this could be a very significant one across Dixie Alley in the same areas that have seen it. But going into tomorrow night, big time ice issues continuing. And look at this going into the Delmarva area. Freezing rain could still be a major problem here, and it doesn't switch to your really heavy snow that all the other models indicate, but keeps it as ice. Wow. And then you obviously have some back-end energy as well, flowing it down south. Kentucky, Tennessee, likely seeing snow, maybe moderate to heavy periods, especially along the mountains here, foothills. And then even some models showing it further south. We'll get to that, though. Your European model goes exactly like this, the same thing. Extremely heavy snow across northern Kansas. Getting into your purple colors here, that is absurd. So if the European model were to verify, you would be talking about up to 3-inch-an-hour rates. Not sure if I fully buy it, but heavy, heavy snow. Look at that snow shield. This is a lot more intense on your European model. Even some moderate to heavy snow going into East Tennessee as well. Northeast Tennessee, really. But just, whole entire spot there, just getting caked with snow. Going into Illinois, Indiana, getting caked as well. And then, boom, your ice concerns tomorrow evening. Really just a long strip of very heavy ice across the regions here. Southern Indiana, central Kentucky. Yeah. Really not much else to say about that other than you need to get prepared now. Off the charts here, that would be exceptional across eastern Kentucky. That would definitely bring down trees, power lines, and would cause travel to be impossible for hours on end. Stay inside, folks, alright? Don't go out in this. This is very dangerous. And if you're out on the roads, could be very deadly as well. Be careful. That also shows your big time outbreak of severe weather as well, moving across the southeast. Ice continues to freeze a specific part here of Kentucky. Again, if the European model's right, then eastern Kentucky, you need to watch extremely heavy snow moving into the Delmarva area. This will be a very big surprise zone, in my opinion, where you could see more energy kick up, a lot more snow, and then East Tennessee getting in on it, and then it dies out. We're going to move on to some more interesting graphics here, such as your mesoscale models here, indicating the same exact ordeal. This time you can see the cities on the map, so this will help out a lot more. But you can see, some ice for Kansas. Again, definitely probably a 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more. Enough to really cause, some tree damage. Probably about it. Power outages for sure as well. Heavy snow overspreading the entire area tomorrow morning. Now looking at a more zoomed out view here, you can see first initial front end thumping, very heavy snow. Columbia, Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri here, getting in on 6, 7, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And this really pushes on through, really intensifies. Wow. Very heavy snow just falling across this whole area. Evansville really getting in on it at this point. Period of freezing rain, East Tennessee. That's not shocking. Heavy sleet as well could be occurring at this time. Heavy snow overspring the whole. Yeah, I don't need to keep saying this, you understand. And there is your ice there. Look at that. Looking very significant into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. And it's a long duration event here. Wow. That is a ton of freezing rain across the board. Even your back end will have freezing rain on it too. I mean, some of these areas here, for crying out loud, could see freezing rain for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 hours straight. We better hope a dry slot can form and could really get rid of all this. This would be a very dangerous event for sure. Then here comes your heavy snow for Washington. Wow. Absolutely absurd. Back-end energy, snow squalls for days in the deep south regions. Yeah, this is a dynamic system. No doubt about that. Okay, now you can already tell this might be a bit of a longer video. I really love going in-depth on this stuff, and I don't really want a time limit holding me back. Now we're going to be taking a look at the Sperry-Pilz Ice Accumulation Index, or the SPIA index for short. So, This was basically made back 2009, and it's a very good tool to understand the damage of ice here. And we're going to just have this up on the side while we look at our National Weather Service ice totals and wind gust map. Alright, now looking at your National Weather Service's projected ice accumulation maps here. This is not accretion, so it's going to be a little bit uncertain on that side of things. We're taking a look here at our ice, and we're seeing a quarter to a half an inch of ice here across east central Kansas. That is very significant there. Going into portions of Missouri as well. We're about to go on to our next slide here. Over a half an inch, and yeah, that's extremely high. All right, now taking a look at a much more broadened out view of this, we're seeing a really significant look here. Central, southern Missouri, we're talking over a half an inch across a lot of areas, even over 0.3 of an inch here. Look at that. Actually, they have a maximum here of almost an inch of ice. That would cause significant damage if we saw that. So really, we gotta hope this doesn't happen, right? We gotta hope something occurs here. Maybe we get some rain afterwards. Maybe. We gotta hope for something. Look at areas further east here. Over a half an inch, a very large area. Even getting in on near 0.3 of an inch. Evansville getting absolutely frozen there. Like Lexington, Kentucky, wow. Very significant totals here. It could really bring down trees and power lines, and we're about to look at our wind gust forecast, and you're going to see why. Our ice index really accounts for that as well, if you really want to know the true extent of the damage that could occur. Going further east into the Appalachian Mountains here in West Virginia, that is a lot of ice as well, especially mountainous areas. That's very dangerous. Western North Carolina, they really don't need this anymore. Possibly 1/10 of an inch in East Tennessee, getting on some of the action as well as southern Kentucky. I mean, what's outlined here in red, yeah, that is potentially the crippling zone there, and we really need to be watching local forecasts to see if maybe, just maybe, this can downtrend here. Alright, so now let's take a look at your peak wind gust forecast map, also alongside the SPIA index here. And let's kind of take a look down here in Kansas really quick. Where some of these areas on our ice map here, like right through here, showed potentially up to a half an inch. All right, well, let's take a look at this. We have gusts up to around 45 miles an hour. Now, this takes into account the sustained wind, not the gusts. So, sustained winds likely around 25 miles an hour through here with a half an inch of ice. Let's see where that lands you. Well, this will land us pretty close to level 3 here in the red. So we're talking about, again, 0.25, 0.5, 25, maybe 35 mile an hour sustained winds. It gets a lot crazier down here in the plains for sure. So what are we talking about here? Well, let's go ahead and highlight it. We are talking about numerous utility interruptions with some damage to main feeder lines and equipment expected. Not possible, but expected. Tree limb damage is excessive. All right? Outages lasting 1 to 5 days. So, yeah, we really do not want to see this type of damage from this ice storm. But when you do have winds sustained around 30 miles an hour in this area, you're going to have a lot of problems, right? Goodness me. And then we go a little further east, and I would have to say that your status is around level 3 as well for those areas. Now, what about in Missouri here? This area in particular I'm very concerned about. We're talking about, well, wind gusts upwards of 30 miles an hour, which means sustained wind should be between 15 and 20 miles an hour. Well, if we go over here, and we're talking about 0.75 of an inch to an inch in that specific area, southwest Missouri here. If we go over to SPIA, that is a level 4 index here. That's level 4 impacts. All right? 0.75 to 1 inch, 15 to 25 mile an hour sustained winds. What in the world does this say? Prolonged and widespread utility interruptions with extensive damage to main distribution feeder lines and some high voltage transmission lines and structures. Outages lasting 5 to 10 days. Yeah, you really do not want to see that. That is very significant impacts there. I'd imagine significant tree damage as well, falling branches. So, if you do live in the areas that would be in the level 4 ice damage index, you need to prepare now. You need to get ready for this. This is not going to be a fun ride at all if you are not ready. And across the same areas, if we somehow manage to get winds a little bit stronger, we could hit level 5 criteria, and we really don't want to do that. I'm not even going to read out what this says. You can see for yourself, because I'm not really thinking this will happen. Please be mindful of the situation, monitor local forecasts, and get prepared for this. Other areas outside of this, likely seeing level 2 to level 3 impacts here, and you already saw what those were earlier. Just stuff you don't want to see, stuff out of nightmares. Yeah, all I can say is wow. And now let's take a slightly less deep dive into your expected snowfall accumulation, since this will not be nearly as significant. But, you know, for portions here of Kansas, I can't stop mentioning Kansas. They're going to get everything, right? We're taking a look at over a foot in some areas, even, 15 inches, 16, 17 inches possibly here near Kansas City. Wow, impacting a major city like that would be a little significant for travel issues. Likely having issues for a couple of days extended period here. But yeah, if you like the snow, yeah, you're going to really enjoy this coming up, trust me. Moving further into northern Missouri, up to a foot. Moving into central Illinois here, around a foot as well. Just high totals for everyone. And for the rest of our areas here, around 9 to 11 inches of snow here across central Indiana, southern Ohio, likely seeing the same thing, about 6 to 10 inches as well, northern Kentucky, and going into the mountains, probably over a foot in most of these areas. The Delmarva area, again, 7 to 9 plus inches. You could see a pretty big surprise out of this. So, don't get your hopes down too much yet. We're likely going to see some big event over here. And for all the snow lovers out there, this is exactly what you've been hoping for over the past year. Gotta keep the energy alive across that area. And a much less lightly talked about topic here is your significant lake effect snow impacting Chicago. Could see anywhere between 2 to 6 inches there. So, hey, you haven't seen too much snow all winter, so if you're a snow lover, you're going to love it. If you're a snow hater, well, what do you expect? I mean, you live up north, it's going to snow there a lot. Just trying to kind of make light of the situation here. Alright, that was a lot of information. Let's get into your severe weather risk, because we have that to talk about as well. Unfortunately, latest model guidance has uptrended. We're talking about a 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale for damaging winds, potentially some large hail, and tornadoes, a couple of which could be strong across northeastern Louisiana, and portions of western Mississippi as well in this risk area. And then your level 2 out of 5 outside it as well could see some significant impacts. And we'll take a look at your products here. For wind, we have a 30% non-significant. This could go significant for 70 to 80 mile an hour winds and future outlooks. So we're just going to have to wait and see on that. Hail here, probably not much of an issue. Then as we hop over to our tornado risk, this is news to me. I didn't actually see this before. Talking about a 10% non-significant risk for tornadoes. This will likely go significant in the next update with what I'm about to show you. Yeah, definitely an elevated tornado risk here across some very familiar areas that do not need to see any more severe weather. Moving on to your HRRR model, here is your future simulated reflectivity. Not exactly a forecast, but just what the model's picking out. Storms being to fire around 12 to 1 to 2 in the afternoon tomorrow. Already tomorrow, gosh, it's gone by fast. And hey, would you look at that, semi-discrete supercells firing in front of our main line of storms here in Arkansas and western Louisiana. These are the ones that can produce your strong tornado risk. as we go through tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. Some of these cells becoming very well defined. Strong tornado risk there, and there. Very mature supercells. And anywhere along this line, tons and tons of curly cues here, just up and down. So possibly, I really don't want to say it yet, but I'm gonna say it because it happened last time. Potential for a tornado outbreak is in the cards for these areas. Might want to turn your weather radio on high and turn your emergency alerts on your phone so you don't miss any warnings that may be issued, and so you don't miss a potential tornado rolling right down your neighborhood. What a way to go into the evening, right? And just very aggressive line of storms, more prefrontals out in front as well. Yeah, definitely a strong tornado risk, and a gigantic bow echo begins to set up shop here, where you will likely see some damaging, considerably damaging to even destructive wind gusts here across a fairly large area. Begins to deteriorate, moving into Alabama here, into Georgia, and you didn't see this first, Monday might be an interesting day as well. We'll see about that. Montgomery snow squalls, yeah, don't bet any money on that. Don't hold your breath. But just keep that in the back of your head. Now we're going to take a look at your significant tornado parameters here, going to tomorrow afternoon. You can see it really being a light up here across Louisiana. Arkansas as well, that wasn't mentioned much. Mississippi, yeah, we are seeing some yellow colors here, orange colors. These cells out in front will be taking a lot of energy, will be taking a lot of advantage here from the strong southeasterly wind shear and also your bubbly storm energy as well. So gotta really watch a strong tornado risk for sure. And tornado risk really dies out by the overnight hours. And now we go from talking about severe weather straight back to winter weather again. And it's just because I want to note a little bit of a system that could be occurring Thursday or Friday. We could be seeing some snow across the upper southeast, mid-south into the Ohio Valley. Really, this is absolutely not a forecast as of right now. So don't go telling everyone that it's going to snow. Just say that, hey, there might be a chance, maybe, that we see some wintry precipitation by the end of next week. But really nothing to write home about just yet. Too much warm air, right? We need to get that out of the way. But hey, according to your GEFS ensemble, that might not be much of an issue. Here we got a lot of panels here, a lot of members showing a very intense snowstorm here. I gotta be careful with my wording. This is not a forecast, but this is just what the model is showing. Look at that intense snowstorm there for the mid-south and upper southeast, especially Tennessee getting in on the action. Wow, if we saw that unfold, I would be a happy camper, that's for sure. And look at that, your mountains would be getting crushed with lots of snow. East Tennessee getting absolutely thrown into the ringer as well. Again, just have to wait and see, and I shouldn't go that far out. Let's not look at the next one yet. What a long video, right? Had to get all that information out there. That being said, thank you all so much for tuning into today's video. If you did enjoy, please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to my little corner of the weather community, share this with friends, family on social media, and leave a comment in the section below if you wish, just telling me how well I did, or if there's stuff you want to see me do in the future. That being said, have a wonderful night, everyone, and stay safe for tomorrow, as it could get very serious, especially in your red shaded areas here. My goodness. Stay very weather aware.